Okay, so we were just talking. I want to find a number that I can divide both of these by. All right, so I know that I can divide both of these terms by 3 and get nice numbers back. Divide both of these by 3 and get nice numbers back, right? And I will take care of that in a second. But remember, we said if the first term is negative, factor out a negative. So whatever number you decide, we need to take the negative of that. So remember, my first term was -3. So I'm going to divide both things by a -3 so that I get rid of the negative. I need to factor out a negative. Alrighty. Then the number you divide everything by goes on the over here. I divided each thing by -3. And you're going to rewrite what you're left with inside a pair of parentheses. All right, so -3x squared divided by -3. Well, -3 divided by -3 is just 1. You could do that in your calculator, and we still have the x squared. And then 12x divided by -3, we'll leave the x alone. 12 divided by -3 is -4x. Alrighty, so this is what I'm left over with. I'm almost done, not done, but almost done. We asked ourselves earlier, do both terms in the equation have an x to give? And we said yes, they both have something to do with x. So since they both have an x to give, I need to factor out an x. I need to make this smaller inside. I want to get it as simplified as possible. This exponent right here tells you how many x's there are. So side note, this is technically 1 times x times x. That means there's 2 x's with this 1. So I can rewrite it as that just to think about it. I want to divide, I'm going to erase this though. I'm going to take out an x from both terms then, because they both have an x to give. And since I divided by it, I'm going to put it on the outside of these parentheses. So now I have -3x instead. And then inside, I'm left with x squared divided by x. That means I'm taking away, there's 2 x's and I'm taking away 1. That just leaves me with 1x. All right, -4x divided by x, those x's cancel. I have 1x, I'm taking away 1x, so I have no more x's, and I'm just left with -4. And this is my answer. I divided by -3x. You need to still have that in your answer to show for it. And after I divided everything by -3x, I'm left with x minus 4. You can erase this 1. You do not need that 1, but you can also keep it there. I don't care either way. Alrighty, if you have a question on that, let me know. This is a complex problem. The next one's much simpler. The next problem, 4x squared plus 2x minus 6. You're going to follow the same steps. The directions are the same. Factor out a greatest common factor. You want to ask yourself those questions. Is my first term a negative? No, my first number here is not a negative, so I do not need to worry about that. The second question, does every term have an x to give? And that answer is no, because this -6 does not have an x to give. So I don't have to worry about taking out an x from everything. Now the only thing I need to worry myself with is what number can I divide every term by to get nice numbers out. I want to make this smaller by dividing it by a number that everything goes into. My first instinct is to divide it by the number in front, which is 4, but I can't divide all of these nicely by 4 and get nice numbers. But I hope you agree with me. I can divide each of these things by 2 and get a nice number. Remember, the number we divide by goes on the outside of parentheses, and the inside goes what we are left with after we divide. 4x squared divided by 2. Leave the x squared out of it and just do 4 divided by 2, which is 2. And then we have that x squared still. That's not going to be enough room. 2x divided by 2. Leave the x out for a second. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. X, so you can write the 1, but you don't have to. Those cancel. And then -6 divided by 2 leaves me with a -3. So this is what I am left with. My greatest common factor, though, is what's on the outside. My GCF is 2. What is the greatest common factor that goes into everything? It is 2. Over here, my greatest common factor was what's on the outside, so my GCF is -3x. If I was asked, I could take a -3x out of everything. Now you know everything you need to, so please be working on the Go formative and show all of your work. Let me know if you have any questions.